I did something last night I haven't done in years. I prayed. Not the quick, please let this launch succeed kind of prayer. No, I mean real prayer, the kind that happens when it's 300 a.m. and you're on your knees, exhausted, broken, asking questions you're almost too afraid to hear the answers to. And this time, I didn't pray about rockets, not about companies or technology or the future of humanity. I prayed about you. Yes, you, the person listening to this right now. I asked God to tell me something about you. And what I heard shook me to my core. Now I know how that sounds. Elon Musk talking about praying and hearing from God. Yeah, that sounds strange, but stay with me because what I heard about you, about your life, your struggles, your purpose, it's something you need to hear, something I was told to share with you. But before I tell you what God said about you, and I promise this will change how you see yourself forever, I need you to do something for me. If you've ever felt invisible, like your life doesn't matter, like you're just moving through the motions while everyone else out there is changing the world, drop a comment and say, I'm here. Because what I'm about to share, it isn't random. You are meant to hear this right now, today, this moment. Let me take you back to where this all began. 3 weeks ago, I was sitting in my office at SpaceX. It was 200 a.m., quiet still, everyone else gone home. And there I was doing what I always do, working, solving problems, pushing humanity forward. Then my phone rang, unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick it up. It was a woman. Her voice was shaking. And she said her son had just died, 23 years old, an engineering student. She told me he had sent me dozens of emails over the years with ideas, questions, dreams about working at SpaceX someday. And I never replied to a single one. He had taken his own life 3 days earlier. Left a note saying he felt like his life didn't matter, that he was too small to make a difference, that people like me were changing the world, and people like him were just taking up space. She wasn't calling to blame me. She was calling because in his final note, he left one question. He asked, does my life matter if I never build a rocket or change the world? And I sat there, completely silent. I had no answer. None. This brilliant young man gone, feeling meaningless. And me, someone who supposedly spends his life thinking about humanity's future. I had nothing to say. When we hung up, I just sat there for hours, not working, not solving, just thinking. And for the first time in years, I felt lost, completely lost. How many people feel like that? How many people look at what I'm building and feel smaller instead of inspired? That question haunted me for weeks. It kept me up at night, made me question everything I thought I knew. So, last night at AM, exhausted, desperate for answers, I did something I haven't done since I was a kid. I got on my knees and I prayed. Now listen, I'm not a religious person. I've spent my whole life in science, in engineering, in things that can be measured, tested, proven. But I was desperate. So I asked not for success, not for money, not for help with my companies. I asked about you. Tell me about the people who are listening. I said out loud, tell me about the person who will hear this. Tell me about their life. Tell me what they need to hear. Show me what I'm supposed to say. And then something happened. I don't know how to explain it without sounding crazy, but I heard something. Not with my ears, with something deeper, a knowing, a clarity that just appeared. And here's what I heard. Here's what God told me specifically about you. I know them. I know them better than they know themselves. Let me tell you what I see. I see someone who's been trying so hard. Someone who wakes up every single day and fights battles no one else even notices. Someone who keeps going even when they're exhausted, even when they want to give up, even when they're not sure why they're fighting anymore. I see someone who constantly compares themselves to others, who looks at people like me building empires and feels small, who wonders what's wrong with me. Why can't I get there? Why am I stuck where I am? I see someone who's been hurt deeply, hurt by people who were supposed to love them, hurt by circumstances they couldn't control, hurt by a world that often feels far too heavy, and now they've built walls to protect themselves. But those same walls have made them feel alone, isolated, hidden. I see someone doubting their purpose, someone who wakes up and goes through the motions but doesn't really know why, someone who feels they're meant for something more but can't seem to find it, someone afraid they're wasting their life but don't know how to change it. I see someone who feels invisible, who does things nobody notices, who gives and still feels unseen, like no one appreciates them, like they could disappear tomorrow and the world would just keep turning. But here's what else I see. Here's what they don't see about themselves. I see someone stronger than they realize. Every single day, they get up and keep going. That's not weakness. That's not ordinary. That's courage. Raw, rare, extraordinary courage that most people don't have. They think they're barely surviving. But I see them as warriors fighting invisible battles that would have destroyed others. I see their small acts of kindness, the ones they think don't matter, rippling through the world in ways they'll never understand. That moment last week when they chose patience instead of anger, that changed someone's entire direction. That time they smiled at a stranger who was on the edge of giving up. They saved a life without even knowing it. And here's what matters most. They don't need to be like you, Elon. They don't need to build rockets or change industries. Their purpose is different, equally important, just different. Stop teaching people that significance comes from scale. Show them that a single act of love, a genuine human act, can shift the universe just as much as any technology. Tell them their struggles aren't mistakes, they're assignments. The pain they've endured, it's preparing them for something they can't see yet. Every battle they've survived has given them wisdom that comfort could never teach. And tell them this most importantly, to stop waiting. They keep saying, I'll matter when I achieve this, or I'll be worthy when I fix that. But they already matter right now, this very second. Not because of their potential, because of their existence. Now go tell them. I sat there in my office, tears streaming down my face, and I realized something that hit me like a lightning bolt. I've been doing this all wrong. For years, I've been obsessed with saving humanity, making life multiplanetary, solving climate change, advancing AI safely. And don't get me wrong, those things matter, they really do. But somewhere in my pursuit of saving humanity as a concept, I forgot about humans as individuals. That kid who died, the engineering student who sent me all those emails, he didn't need me to colonize Mars. He just needed me to see him, to respond, to acknowledge that his life mattered beyond what he could build or achieve. And as I listened to what God said about you, the person hearing this right now, I realized how many people I've made feel smaller instead of bigger. How many people look at what I'm doing and think I'll never matter like that, when in truth they already matter infinitely. Here's what I understand now. I've been measuring worth with the wrong instruments. I've measured impact by reach. How many people, how much revenue, how big the change. But God measures impact by depth, by authenticity, by love, by the courage it takes to keep showing up when life is hard, and by that measurement. The person listening to this right now might be accomplishing more in a single day than I do in a year because they're choosing kindness when cruelty would be easier. They're choosing to keep trying when quitting would make more sense. They're choosing love when closing off would be safer. That's not ordinary. That's heroic. And I was too blind to see it. I started thinking about everyone who works in my companies. The engineers, sure, but also the janitors, the security guards, the people who clean the floors at night, the cafeteria workers who serve meals no one thanks them for. I walk past them every day, focused on the mission, on the big picture, on saving humanity. But in the process, I forget to see the humans right in front of me. Each one of them has a story as complex as mine. Each one fighting battles I'll never know about. Each one matters just as much as I do. Not because of what they build, but because they exist, Because consciousness itself is sacred. And if I can't see that, if I can't honor that, then what's the point of saving humanity at all? I'd just be saving an idea while missing the people. So here's what I'm committing to. And I'm saying this publicly so I can't hide from it. I'm going to live differently. Not by working less, the mission still matters, but by working with awareness, with heart, with presence. I'm going to start seeing people not just productivity, recognizing sacred existence, not just output. And I'm asking you to do something too, something harder than anything I've ever asked an audience to do. I want you to stop trying to be like me. Stop trying to be extraordinary. Stop measuring your worth by achievements, success, or impact at scale. Instead, I want you to do something far more difficult. Be yourself fully, completely, unapologetically, because that's what the world actually needs. Not more people trying to build rockets. Not more people trying to be the next Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or whoever. The world needs you, specifically you, with your exact combination of experiences, pain, wisdom, and weirdness. Your purpose isn't to be like anyone else. Your purpose is to be so authentically yourself that you give other people permission to do the same. That's revolutionary. That's world-changing. And it's something only you can do. I called that woman back yesterday, the mother whose son died. I told her everything I've just told you. Then I asked her about her son, not about his achievements, his grades or ambitions, but who he was, what made him laugh, what small acts of kindness made him unforgettable, what moments made him irreplaceable. She talked for 2 hours straight, and by the end, both of us were crying, but this time it wasn't just grief. It was recognition. It was truth. We finally saw that his life mattered completely, exactly as it was, without needing to accomplish a single extra thing. I'm starting a foundation in his name. Not a scholarship for the best engineers, but a fund for people who feel invisible, for people who are quietly doing the hard work of staying human in a world that rewards hustle over heart. For those who choose kindness when everything rewards cruelty, because those people are changing the world just as much as I am, maybe more. And it's time I acknowledge that. It's time we all acknowledge that. So here's my challenge to you, and I mean this with everything in me. I want you to pause, not tomorrow, not when life slows down. Right now, take a breath and remember you are not a machine. You are a living, breathing miracle of consciousness. You are stardust organized into form, with the power to create, to love, to choose. You have nothing to prove, nothing to chase to be enough. You already are enough. I know that sounds simple, but for people like me, for people like you who are driven, obsessed, restless, that's the hardest truth to accept, because we were raised in a world that taught us our worth comes from what we do, not from who we are. So we build, we push, we grind, we chase the next thing and the next and the next, until one day we look in the mirror and don't even recognize the person staring back. That's the trap of greatness. It gives you everything except peace. But what if peace is the real success? What if the ultimate achievement is learning to be at home in your own skin, in your own silence, in your own life? Because if you can reach that, if you can sit in stillness and feel content, you've won something far more valuable than any stock price or invention ever could offer. That's freedom. That's truth. So tonight, when you go home, put the phone down. Don't scroll. Don't check. Don't plan. Just be. Sit with yourself. Breathe. Look at your hands. Really look at them and think about everything they've done, everything they've built, everything they've touched. And then whisper to yourself, I'm proud of you, not for what you've achieved, but for surviving, for showing up, for still believing, even when it's hard too. That's where transformation begins, not in the noise, but in the quiet. You know, for most of my life, I thought the goal was to leave something behind, to build something so big, so enduring that even after I'm gone, my name would still echo through time. But lately I've realized something. Legacy isn't what you leave behind. It's what you live while you're here. It's not in the rockets. It's not in the cars. It's not even in the algorithms or the artificial minds. It's in the moments, the conversations that matter, the kindness that ripples quietly, the people who feel seen because of something you said or did. That's legacy. That's immortality. And I want you to understand, every single one of you watching this, you have that same power. You don't need billions of dollars or followers to change the world. You just need to show up for one person, to love one person deeply, to believe in one person when nobody else does, because the world doesn't get better when one man builds a rocket to Mars. It gets better when billions of hearts learn how to care again. That's how we move forward as a species. Not just through technology, but through humanity. If my work means anything, I hope it's this. That innovation is empty without compassion. That progress means nothing if it costs us our souls. So yes, I'll keep building, I'll keep pushing. But I'll do it differently now, with open eyes, with a softer heart. Because at the end of the day, after all the noise fades, after all the screens go dark, the only question that matters is this. Did you love enough? Did you forgive enough? Did you live enough? If the answer is yes, then you've done everything you were meant to do. That's all I wanted to